but I also know that this work is so embryonic. This is new, this level of detail that we're working with, and that's okay. But yeah, it's so important for the students. And I would say to anyone, before you go to those workshops, before you go do that plant medicine, spend some time getting to know your own system, so that when you are at that workshop or you are in that, sweat lodge, you can listen and say, I need to leave, or I need a moment, or no, I'm not going to do that. But we get allured into the peer pressure, the fear of missing out. I've spent all this money, I better get my money's worth. But then you get swung so far off into more dysregulation that then I've seen people have spent years trying to reclaim their safety again after having such a bad experience with people who are all well-intentioned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think you also spoke to it earlier when you talked about the spiritual bypassing, or the sort of state chasing that can sort of go on, that people get to that peak moment, they just can no way can they integrate that to their nervous system and into their life.
Yes, and that ties in beautifully. Again, we were speaking before we recorded about the dark side of things, like the deep, hard pieces. And a lot of people think that I'm anti-meditation, and that's not true. It's this, the foundations have to be there, because if they're not, and by foundations, I mean the capacity to be with huge swings of intensity that feel like death. And here's the thing, if we go back to your example as an infant, what stops a human from crying? What stops a human from expressing their true authenticity is they fear for their life. If you've ever, as an adult, had a near-death experience, it is scary.
No shit.
It's so scary. I've had a few of them. And you literally, your eyes buck out, you think you're going to die, and you start to replay in your mind all the things that you wish you had done. It's intense. Now, a baby's not maybe going through that same cognitive system, but soul-wise, spiritually, physiologically, they're feeling, I'm about to die. So you take that baby, who is now us as adults who really want to heal this stuff, and let's just say we haven't done the foundation to feel gentle impulses. I also always say to my students, the first few weeks, we do something that's called following your impulse, where the job is to listen to when you're thirsty, listen to when you're full. When do you feel the pressure in your rectum to have a bowel movement? When is your bladder bursting and you're not listening to the need to urinate? As simple as that stuff is, it teaches the human how to re-engage with their natural impulses. And it's amazing how that little tiny practice starts to open up the ability to feel the anxieties, the fears, the bad memories. And so if we haven't done that foundation, we're sitting and say that meditation, and all of a sudden we have the body response, and we get the body response of I'm going to die, which is the heart, right? The blood pressure changing, the memory might come up, the intense, whatever it is. We don't know what that is. Even intellectually, we think something is really wrong.